What is happening, my trippy hippies? What is happening? It is Tammy coming to you live today here in Farmville, Virginia. A little bit later than normal Sunday sermon, so I'm going to give you all a few moments to find me and come check in and say hello. As always, I do ask a couple of favors when you come watch the live. It costs nothing to do a couple of easy things for me today, which is saying hello and telling me where you're watching from and dropping us a grateful fed in the comments. I am live in several places today. I'm live on my personal timeline on Facebook. I'm live in the Hometown Hippie, everywhere you can be live for that, in the business page as well as the private group. I'm live on the Grateful Fed business page, and I'm also live on YouTube in the Community. So wherever you're watching from today, please check in, say hi, do all the things. If you are watching in YouTube, we are trying. So if you can head over to YouTube and do me a favor and subscribe, hit that thumbs up button and hit the bell. It'll notify you when we are going live so that you're able to find us. And I can see a few of you jumping on here this morning. I see Elizabeth Clark is here. Good morning, watching us in Crew, Virginia. I see Heather Johns is here with us this morning, watching from Sylvania, Ohio. Dropping those grateful feds in the comment like we asked. So please be like Heather and Elizabeth, and there's Miss Norma Jean watching us from Farmville, Virginia on YouTube. So wherever you're watching us today, if you could just please tag a friend over there, help us get the live found. Hearts, thumbs up, all those things help. I'm live everywhere. Tag some folks. If you can share this out, if you're in a place where you can share it out, that would also help us out to get the message out. I know we're a little bit later than we normally are going live, but we always say that we're never late. We're always right on time because time is a figment of our imaginations. As you can tell, I am taking a few little deep breaths. My energy feels very calm today. I have been a little MIA from online things. I have been here and there and popping up everywhere a little bit, but I have not been on my regular routine and schedule. And there's been a lot of energy circulating around me. There's been a lot of just different things going on, and different trees, as we call them, falling down in paths, and having to reevaluate some stuff, and things are being brought back up to be reknown in new ways right now for a lot of us, and I am no different. And today's message came in just it's been coming in for a couple of days now, but I am trying very much to do what today's message is, which the message that I got in today was stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. And I am learning that lesson. That is probably a theme for me that has been being brought up to be renowned. Is that y'all are going to be very surprised when you hear this. Maybe not at all surprised. I have the biggest empath heart that ever was, and I want to fix everything. Right? I want to fix everything in the whole wide world. And what I have been realizing, and what the universe needed to show me, right? What the universe needed to show me, and what the thing was, that the tree that kept falling in my path, and this is going to be one of those messages today that's channeled, because this is coming in right in this moment. I didn't even know we were talking about this thing today, and we're actually a little late going live. I love that, Heather. And I hope in today's message might feel like some of you need to hear this today, and I think a lot of you do. So I'm hoping the right people show up. The right people will always show up to hear this. Whether you see this today on February the 18th, 2024, or you see this on March the 3rd, or April the 23rd, or December the 18th of 2028, whenever you see this message may resonate with you. I feel like a lot of people, and maybe a lot of people, I'm gonna say me, like, I'm not pointing this way today. I'm just like, y'all, I'm talking, and this might resonate. And I think that it usually does for everybody. As we started this journey, with the hometown hippie and messaging, the TAMunity, whatever you want to call it. I began this journey in 2019, really, um, with, I call it the Great Awakening, right? If you have maybe in the last several years had your Great Awakening, kind of like you have that aha moment in your life where you decided that what was happening in the world or what was happening in your world was just not fulfilling, and there had to be more out there. And I had this existential crisis, this midlife moment, right, where I really started evaluating, like, I could either get busy dying or get busy living, because I was in a place of just perpetual misery. I was making those around me miserable because I was miserable. I was being cunty and bitchy, and I hate those words, but that is the only way the only language that I have to describe myself. I was not a pleasure to be around. Not at all. I was not a pleasure to be around. And I felt bad all the time. I was tired of being tired. I was just in that place. And I made a decision, a conscious decision, that I was going to heal, and that the internet, apparently the TAMunity, this platform was going to be my accountability journal, and was going to be kind of how it all played out. I'm going to do it very, 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 very publicly, because I felt like my ego, right? My ego knew me very well at the time. And I feel like, we get really mad at our ego. And this is, we're going to say, stay in our lane, right? Today's message, stay in your lane. We get mad at our ego, but about 3 months ago, I started a little path of making friends with my personality body, with making friends with ego, right? Those things that little voice in your head that makes you a people pleaser, that thing that keeps you small, right? That self-perpetuated ego, that self-fulfilling prophecy, that language we talk, that little voice in our head that tells us to stay little, to stay small, to stay protected, to do the things we've always done because that we know that way, right? We all know what ego is, right? I was about 3 months ago. I was really, I've been going through some things. And I've not hid it from you all. I've been the ups and the downs. I tell you, I'm as authentic as my food, because I want everybody out there to see that, you see so much fake stuff, that there's good times, and I share those with you, and there are bad times. And that makes you know that you're going to have good times in life and you're going to have bad times in life. And it's just a way for those of you out there who see people on the internet who you hold up as successful, or you hold up as role models, or you hold up as whatever. And so many times they feel like they can't be their most authentic self. They have to put this image out to the world, right? But I made a decision when I decided to make this my public accountability, my platform, was that I am not going to, this is not going to be fake, right? It was good, the bad, the ugly. You guys are going to know authentically what's happening. And whether I used to have some attachment to it in regards to, wanting to people please, wanting to make everybody out there happy, wanting to really, the ego wanted me to not talk about anything that was controversial, not talk about anything that might alienate half of the people. I was doing that. I was getting to a place about 3 months ago where I was struggling, but I did not want to share all of the struggles and I just went MIA, right? But about 3 months ago, I was told to make friends with ego, to stop trying to kill the ego, right? But to try to thank the ego and to change my relationship with ego, with personality body, with that. And it has been interesting to see how that works, right? It has been to placate and to understand that ego has served a purpose in my life, and I'm sure ego serves a purpose in your life. And I have walked this path over the last 3 months of being very self-aware in places where my fear response, which ego, I feel like, is kind of, they say you have two wolves, right? You've all heard that old wives' tale, or the story about the Indian grandfather, the chief, telling the tribe or his grandson about how we all have two wolves that reside within us, kind of like good and evil, light and dark kind of thing. And the kid asks who wins, and the Indian chief basically says the one that you feed, right? So as those two wolves live inside of each of us, I say personality, body, and our ego and higher self. Those are the two wolves within me. What I recognized is a lot of knee-jerk reactions, and a lot of the problem is that what do we feed? What do most of us feed? What are we good at? We are good at worry. We are good at expecting things to go bad. So we tend to feed the ego, the fear response, right? We talk about it all the time. You can't operate from fear and faith. They don't work on the same level, right? The vibration, the frequency of those two things are different. So when you are operating from a place of fear or ego, you're not operating at the higher level out of that faith base, because they're just too far away from each other. So my goal has been trying to stay in flow, trying to maintain my energy, right? To maintain or to live in a way, right? To walk in integrity in a way, and to live in integrity in a way in which I am operating from a place of faith, and my frequency is here. Okay. That is so much easier said than done, especially if you are down here and you have fed this ego, and it's kind of like they say, don't feed the bear because it keeps coming back, right? It will not stop till it gets you. I've realized over the last several months, and maybe some of you can say hallelujah, amen, if you know what I'm saying. It's like your head knows it. Like your head knows that you should be everything is going to be fine. Like you can say it all day long. Like every little, like I get up in the morning and I do affirmations, right? That is my manifestation of the day. And I say, every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. And then I sneeze and I'm like, is that true, right? And I'm like, I don't want to fake it till I make it. I want to face it till I make it. But I'm like, my head knows it. I'm very conscious of what I should be doing, but there's something in that solar plexus and that those energies that stuck other places that tend to make you feel out of alignment, right? Not in integrity. Like, hey, I know it, but I'm not feeling it. Like this is in fear, but this is in higher self. Can those two things happen, right? Can anybody else relate to that, where your head knows, like your head knows it's all going to be fine? There's no reason. It's kind of like walking into a basement, right? Like you're a grown up, there's nothing in your basement. There's nothing down there that's going to eat you. There's no monster living down there that's going to gobble you up, right? And your head knows that. Your head knows that there's nothing to be afraid of in that dark, that you're fine. You've been down in that basement. It's just your washer and dryer. It's just the stored Sterilite containers, maybe a mouse or maybe a spider, but there's no like it clown living down in the basement, right? But your head knows that. But everything else, when you walk down there, your body does not react in the way that your head is telling you, right? Your senses are heightened. You're startled easily. Your pupils are dilated. You're like got goosebumps. Can anybody know what I'm saying, right? Like you feel like I know this, but my I'm just not cooperating. And then this is where I get into my this is where I get into the battle royale between higher self and ego, right? I go through that, like, what's wrong? Like, are you out of integrity? It's a yeah, see, someone read Heather's comment. Sometimes we work together well on these. Ooh, you were so right. It's a struggle for me on the daily. My fuck around and find out is so near to the surface. I'm just built like that. But the peace of mind that comes with changing it into kindness and heart energy eventually makes the gap to the surface bigger. Oh yeah, you definitely know, right? We all know that. So over the last 3 months, what I'm trying to do is in those moments when I am feeling out of alignment, my fear response, right? My knee jerking to reactions to these things, to like, oh my gosh, like, am I crazy? Right? Is my head crazy? Right? Am I believing in this thing that's and I'm crazy? Like my ego is at that place where like, don't give in to what your higher self is telling you. I've literally I feel like having like Transformer level, because I just watched Transformers, like these big, like epic movie battle, like fights with higher self and ego, having these battles over the last 3 months as we have tried to make friends. And as I've tried to make friends, I was like, hey, I'm waving the peace flag. I'm going to notice when my body feels out of alignment with my higher self. And I'm going to start asking myself the hard questions. Like, why don't I believe that I deserve to be successful? Not about, hey, you know, it's fine. Your head knows it, your heart, versus that. It's like, hey, ego, where in our past have I made you feel like, right? Where have we, what has happened in this lifetime? If it's not in this lifetime, what old energy are we storing? I apologize that I've made you feel that you have to make me feel like I'm sorry, because it's us together, right? The higher self, the ego, we're all part of the divine. Even your ego is of the divine. It is of you. Either everything is of God or nothing is of God. Right? So I have to be in alignment even with the thing that's the part of me, right, that I'm trying to get into flow, that I'm trying to change. Just like when I was trying to I was doing keto and I was honoring my body and the things that I was putting in my physical body, right? We have a physical body, a spiritual body, an emotional body, etherical. We have all of these different layers to who we are as people, right? So versus me treating my ego like a prisoner, like this awful thing that has been like a best friend you don't want anymore. I said, hey, thank you for getting me this far. Now, how do I coax you? How do I love you better, ego? How do I treat you? How do we work together to keep ourselves out of this flight or fight feeling constantly? How do we work together? How do we become simpatico again? Like, how do we become buddies again, right? And it's really doing that's when you get that layer of the onion. You get to some core levels, right? And you really start picking apart. It's not those little like trees anymore. It's literally the forest. It is literally the forest in front of you when you get to this point. As I'm feeling it. I just ordered a sweatshirt that says, I hate it here. I'm going to wear it on the bad days. Just to remember myself, it's only a moment. Hate and love are the same thing, just perspective in them. Exactly, right? They're both the opposite ends of the spectrum. They're the opposite ends of the spectrum. They are the highs and the lows of each of those things, right? I call the top and the bottom of the heart chakra as far as frequency goes, right? But today, this last couple of weeks, what I have been shown, and as I've branched out into all these things, the things that ego told me that I couldn't do, which is interesting, because for years and years and years, I kind of stayed at my house and I stayed in my lane and I stayed in the shadows, and I didn't, I stayed with my specific group of people, and we joke all the time about whose people are, right? People pull up in the driveway in the parking lot, and we look out the window. I'm like, oh, that's Red's people. Oh, that's Amy, that's your people. Or Grace, here comes some of your people. And, we joke about the people who we have fostered through the relationship. But there are people who I have felt my entire life. My ego has held me in this place that people in this world are better than. Like, they're smarter, they are wealthier, they are more connected, they are better looking, they are more talented, they're more all the things that we tell ourselves when our ego is trying to keep us small and in our place. And one of the biggest things that I have been suffering with, and why I've really been doing intensive work, like I was doing, has not been as consistent because of travel and the holidays and things. But over the last several months, I have gone from every other week energy work for me, like healing sessions for me, to doing a weekly session. Like, and that's double the amount of sessions that I need. And I'm still, I could probably do a session a day is where I'm at right now with things. But the message that came in, and today has been the clearest message, has been stay in your lane. And over these last couple of months, whenever I have been doing these additional sessions and looking inward at myself and taking some time to really evaluate what it is that I want, where it is that I'm going, why I operate in the way that I operate, how do I stand in integrity without all the things. And I'm coming to you and telling you this because I do not believe, and if I can please, there's 7 of you watching, please share this out, tag a friend. it's few people commenting. If you're watching this, please say hi. If you can relate to this, if you have walked through this in your life where you your head knew it, but your heart maybe hadn't caught up with it yet. When you were wise enough, right? Wise enough, but your heart just didn't catch up with your brain, right? If that didn't happen, and if you are in a place in your life right now, I'm asking these questions like I want to see what you have to say. This is a conversation, right? If you are at a place right now where you might want to make friends with your ego, if you're at a place right now where you know, right, that doing the same thing over and over and over again is not creating any type of change in your life, and you know, and I think that, this is something that as community, we talk about community. One of the things that, I got this message to stay in my lane, right? There are things that I'm giving away. There are things that I'm giving up. There are things that we are laying down. I'm going to talk about those in a second. About staying in my lane and things that over the last several months, things that I've learned. But if you are out there today and you are listening to me, or you know somebody who should be here listening to us today, right, who is picking up things that are not theirs because they have been programmed to, and I say programmed to, here's an example of maybe somebody that needs this lesson today about making friends with ego, about doing the hard work, things like that. Well, I told y'all back in 2019, I was tired of being tired. When this whole journey kind of began for me, it was because I literally was contemplating being done with it all. I was about a year out of, and I was a year into deep depression and grief from losing my mom. My marriage was failing. I didn't have any friends to speak of. I didn't. I didn't talk to anybody. I was very self-isolating. I went to work. I had work friends, but I don't see any of those people now. And in that moment, I'm like, why? Why am I even here? Like, what am I even doing here? Right? Why am I even doing this? Like, the world would be a better place if I was not. And that's where I really was. And I realized that I was depressed and not sick. And sick and depressed are the same thing. But it was and I didn't understand. I'm of an age, right? I'm of an age where when you told somebody you were sad and you didn't feel good and you were just depressed and you didn't know why, and I don't hold this against them. It's something that I'm working through, and many of you could probably attest to this. It was suck it up, mind over matter, and I do those things, and I preach those things in some circumstances. But I also recognize that it's okay to feel the feeling, and it was okay for me to be depressed, just like it is okay for all of you. I say this all the time. You can take the exit. You just can't unpack and move in. Get a hotel room, rest for the night. If you are having your moment, live in your moment. Feel the feeling. Have that moment, right? You just can't unpack and live there. And in that moment, in that season of my life, I had built a house there, unpacked. I was looking for, we were going to be, I was going to be my forever home is what I had kind of gotten myself to. That depression state had gotten there. My caffeine this morning, sorry. But I couldn't, it was such a ingrained programming that if you need rest and you don't feel good, you have to have a physical ailment. There's something that's physically got to be wrong. So ego then made my body break down, right? I put all that energy in all these places in my body, and I stayed at the doctor's office. It was all like autoimmune, which is usually energetic stuff. In most instances, it is trapped trauma. That's why they can't figure it out. And I see Heather saying, I'm riding that edge right now, but with the help of this group and others, I'm not going to jump off. But also I need to have this uncomfortable space to be able to remember that I don't want to live there. Exactly, right? You don't want to live there. But here's the thing, right? Here's what I knew that it was going to be okay. It was not that I was done. I just didn't want to be in that place anymore. And I felt like I didn't want to live here, but I did want to live. I wanted something different. And I feel like when you're really at that end place, you don't want anything different. You just don't want anything. But when you want something different, it gave me a little piece of hope. I said, I can't do this. I don't think that I'm worth breathing anymore, but I provide a service for people. Like I do this for my sister, and I provide this for my dad, and I do this for Red, and it's not fair to them, and I don't care about me, but I care about these other people, right? So I wanted, when I was going through this journey over the last 3 months and talking about making friends with ego, I literally, like, I'm having these conversations in my journal with my ego, and I thanked my ego for saving my life that day. Because that's who did it. Ego was keeping me in my place and protecting me, right? It was the thing that made me preserve. So, and I found opportunities and places in my life where ego did its job in a very life fulfilling way, right? When I can find moments like, hey, let's learn to work together, right? Let's learn to work together in a way that you can protect me, but you're protecting me at a higher place, right? You're protecting me at a higher level. And one of the things that ego said is like, well, then stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, Tammy. You're taking on things that are not yours, and it shows me, right? I have been wanting to do brunch market here at the shop. My thought was there's no way to connect the people to the product and all of these things. And if they could just see it, they would know about it. There are plenty of farmers markets in the extension office and natural fuel. And there are places, because when I started getting out there and they already had places and cut sheets, and they know how to sell their wares. They've got a farmers market group that they work well through. We're just an extra place, which is great. But I don't need to take that on as well, right? Um, I I am going to remember what I want to do, which is spreading love and light with every bite. We have downsized our staff, and we're getting ready to get a little bit smaller. Chef Grace is 8 months, well, 7 months pregnant now. Grace is due in April. We have her baby shower coming up in March, and we are going to be a person down in for 3 months. Grace is expecting to take about 3 months off, so like April, May, June. Um, and good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, everything goes well. She's got a very easy delivery and birth situation, and all is well. But you just hold space that all goes well with that. So we are going to be revamping again, like we always do, a little bit here and there. I am working through some things because we're going to stay in our lane. We're going to stay in our lane. And I am going to be more true to what my vision is for my business. And that's just the truth of the matter. One of the things that I'm learning about staying in my lane in this message today, and I'm just bringing it to you, is that I try to be everything that I am not. I try to be something that I am not. And I try to do that out of a goal to please other people, because everybody has an opinion about what you do with your business. And I didn't trust myself, right? I'm learning over this last month that ego was all of the second guessing and all the things that was happening with that was ego whispering in my ear that you don't deserve any of the things that you're having. And so it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we are going to take a breath. I am working through some things now, a revamped kind of business plan. It's not even revamped, it's back to the original, what I wanted to do from the beginning of time, how I wanted my business to look, what I wanted to do, how I wanted it to feel, the time off, all the things that I wanted to do with all the things that I wanted to do. I am looking for some space to put the things that I want to put them in. But in the meantime, we are going to take a breath, and we're not going to be doing a million extra things. Where your mind goes, your energy flows. And what I want each and every one of you to do is I want you in this time of, if you're in this time where I am, right, of of awakening. Maybe you're new to this. Maybe it's the first time you've heard a message like this. You're like, hey, that all sounds great, and I need to know more about this, and I need to set some boundaries, and I need to make friends with my ego, and I need to lean into community. Can anybody tell me where you are in your life right now? Is this resonating? Does anybody else want to go through maybe a little Zoom action together where we can like take some breaths and see about making friends with our ego, right? Maybe like meeting our ego and like learning to make them be best friends again, right? Maybe aligning that energy a little bit. But we've always wanted to utilize food magic and ingredients in a way that is in a way that heals our community. And so we're going to stay in our lane. We're going to allow the farmers to farm, right? We're going to allow the farmers to farm. We're going to focus back on creating amazing. I have a new menu coming out this week. I am in the kitchen. I'm not bringing in my staff in until Wednesday this week. I am bringing in my cousin and my sister early in the week, and a little bit of a cleaning assistant. But other than that, I am cooking this week. I am actually doing some recipe and some spell work in the kitchen this week. Just being honest, I have some thoughts and some things. I put some things on sale on the Hippie site, so if you have not gone over there yet, do so. I am focusing my energy on the pantry item cookbook, and we're going to start doing some of that. I need to be back in creating food. That's my lane. That's my lane. Like I need to do that. I am going to focus my energy on there's gonna be a nice kind of a chunky kind of announcement coming out this week with the websites being updated, things like that. It is your lane. Yes, it is. It is my lane. And I want you all to know what your lane is. Get clear about what you want, right? And that's one of the things in this journal. The ego says is like, hey, you are very see everything around you, right? And so ego gets me sick or gets something to happen to kind of like trip me up. I am going to be picking and choosing the things that we do. Does that mean that people might fall off? They might not like this direction, and I'm okay if they don't like this direction. I think everybody's going to be fine with it because there's a place for everyone. There is a plan for everyone. But I have been saying it since the beginning of the year, and I was unsure of how to make it happen. I've been telling the team since the beginning of the year, since the end of last year, was like, if the energy is not right, I won't do it. If there's not Reiki, if the food is not perfect, then I don't want to put it out. And I know that sounds crazy to some people. You're like, hey, your food is delicious. I'm like, I get that, but it's intentionality. One of the things that we started doing this year is I made each and every one of them set. I'm not going to show you anybody's names or any of that stuff, but like on a shift plan, I'm going to cover this up. We have like daily intentions, right? And then we have like things you learn for the day. And so one of the things that I tell them, I was like, you have to set your daily intention for the energy that you're putting into your food today and for yourself. And we're going to go back to that. We're going back to basics. The schedule, the menu, it's intuitive cooked items. For example, there's a reason why we're doing smothered pork chops, right? I'm definitely cooking in some abundance, some blessings into the smothering. There's a whole process for that for me. Because the intention that is set follows the whole process. Energy is infinite. Exactly. And it goes into that. And, people say to us all the time, the energy feels good in here. And we work really hard on that. I smudge this place. I mean, I have just bottles and bottles and bottles. This is an empty one now. We got a full new bottle of Sacred Space smudge. We've got our Palo Santo. We've got our burning smudge. We have essential oils that we put through here. We do simmer pots. We have crystals. We have Buddhic columns that move energy help me set and imagine these columns that pull energy out and out of this space. Um, we I believe that we have a superior product in regards to flavor and taste. And I believe that if people know where we are and we get people out here, that we will be successful with our truck and our kitchen market kitchen and our catering from right here at this location. Um, we do have a few places that we will take the truck, but we are going to really try to focus on getting people out to know where we're at this spring, because we have Grace out. I'll let y'all know what we're doing is that the truck will be pulled out occasionally for events. We have some people that want us at some places, but for the most part, the truck is going to be set at our shop location right here, starting in April. We're going to be working on it between now and then. But starting in April, our springtime with the weather being nice outside, I'm going to have Dad and Red are going to start working with me. We're going to be putting up like a pavilion over there, our lean-to kind of thing. Hopefully, I'm going to see what the cost is of all of that. We may just have like our sun sails up to cover the sun and the wind or whatever. But in lights and things, we're going to put the truck out here, and we are going to put picnic tables and lights and all of those fun things out in the parking lot to create like an outside, like Tasty Freeze kind of bistro area for this spring and summer to see how we do with the set location. We will, we're going to be doing fun stuff out there. I'm hoping we'll maybe have some music out on the summer evenings on Fridays and maybe Saturdays. We'll see how that rock and rolls. But I am going to step away from weddings and such. We're going to pick and choose. That is not our big thing. Is going to be lunch catering for corporate events and corporate catering. We are going to be stepping away from the wedding catering of it. Because if we do that, and Norma Jean, I'm glad she's on here, because what the plan is for, I've gotten clear about things, and I'm going to put this up here because Norma Jean and I are going to be partnering on some things, is that I want to focus on getting a set schedule here, having our calendar for the spring to look like it needs to look, and then to be focusing on working with Norma Jean to make a plan for the farm, to be able to put our event venue there, our Mandela Garden and our event venue there, and then any type of catering that we do, our weddings, anything that we do, catering would be done at that location only. Yep. So she said there's a spot here in Crew where there's food trucks is often parked with picnic tables and patio lights. Yes. So we're going to create a fun spot. And then we are going to work on finding our full. I love that. Every part of my life began to shift for the better. I love that. I love this. See, she has Norma Jean has no idea how blessed she is and how much she blesses other people. Like, I don't know that you give yourself enough credit. Your energy is phenomenal, Norma Jean, and you light up a room when you walk into it. But we're going to work on creating the space over there with our, and I'm going to tell you what helped me with this. Back in 2019, when I was struggling with all the things I was struggling with, and I told you all this, ego has me convinced, right, that every decision that I make as a business owner that maybe does not create a profitable outcome or does not go the way that I want it to go, I have been saying, Norma Jean, the astrology queen. I love that it rhymes. Norma Jean loves a good rhyme. I told Red, I was like, I'm such a failure. He said, I told him, he says, what's wrong with you? He said, something is not right. Something has not been right with you. I don't have a lot to say. This is the most that I talk pretty much ever. I've just been really internalizing everything and feeling like a complete failure. With the amount of business we have coming in, with the support we have, with winning New Business of the Year, in my opinion, I should have enough money in the bank to pay all the bills, cover my tax debt, all the things that I have, and I don't. And I'm just being honest, I don't. Our business is very successful by the product we put out and by the customer service we give, but dollars and cents wise, I am not doing a good job in that manner. I'm just not. I owe, and I am figuring it out. I made some big decisions this week that I'm going to be broke. I needed some capital, and they tried to like give me this crazy. I needed $10,000 capital to kind of get some things caught up. That's where I'm at right now. And this is what I said. I just my low the other day, and this company's like, "Oh, we have you approved for up to $30,000 capital. No big deal." And the interest rate, they wanted to loan me $30,000 for 7 months. I had to pay it back in 7 months at $1,648 a week for a total repayment of $44,900. And I was like, why? That makes zero sense. That is a title loan or that is like a loan shark rate for a business. There's no wonder these businesses go under, because I'm like, I'll bounce a check before I close my business by making that kind of deal, because the money that I borrowed from you is going to be spent to pay you back, and I'm going to be in worse. I'm going to owe another $14,000 I don't have in 7 months. If I could have get the hell out of my face, right? But fear says, do I need that money before I can't pay the bills? I'm like, no, I will do it myself. I will take the breath. Everything happens as it's supposed to. Don't make a bad decision. And Red said to me, he's like, you don't know until you know. He says, you shot your shot, even if it doesn't go well. He said the same thing Heather did. And I'm going to get really emotional about this, because he said, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm a failure. I was like, everybody thinks we're doing great. We're new business of the year. And I don't know from a financial standpoint how that looks. Like, I should have a lot more money in the bank. Like, I'm trying not to charge my customers so much money that it's unaffordable to eat, but the way that prices keep going up on stuff and the amount of taxes it takes to pay your people and all of that. And so he told me, stop feeling. I said, I'm going to let you down. I'm going to bankrupt us again. I've taken every piece of money that I spent the last 3 years saving, putting in I took all my Edward Jones money. I took everything and did this. And it was our money. I mean, it was my money that I earned, but we're married. So I said, hey, I took our entire life savings. I took all of our retirement that I'd saved for, all of my 401ks, all that stuff that we had put in the bank, all of our savings, everything that I put in this chunk. I said, and we're renting a house, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep the doors open, because I'm at the place where I'm earning it to pay it, right? And I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fail you again. And that's what he said to me. He said, hey, we've lost it all and gained it all back in a week again. You do it, you have, like you say, I have no problem making it. I have a problem keeping it. He said, but you didn't fail. You're not failing. He said, you're just learning. And and Heather said that, and I was like, wow, that just hit me. Just hit me. Because I didn't see it that way. And that's making friends with ego. That's the big thing, right? Making friends with ego. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. It's not failure, it's growth, and I'm learning. And I am learning. And it's hard lessons, and it's not easy. And if it was easy, it'd just be the way, right? All those things. But if you're struggling in your moment in life, see, like, I'm still dealing with it, right? And I'm still here dealing with it. And I'm here telling you that it's going to be okay. I might be broke for a minute or two. I might be late on some bills, and my credit might not look great for a little while, right? But so be it. I'm going to get it paid. It's going to be fine. And if people that can't hang on while we downsize and restructure and do the things don't stay, then people don't stay. And it'll all be okay. It'll all be okay. The head, the heart's got to catch up to each other, right? And the tears, I think, sometimes are the thing that helps them connect, because that's what I had to do. And that's making friends with ego. Like, this is like where the rubber meets the road. These are the moments, right? And it's me having to take accountability for my own suffering. And I talk about this with you as well. It's okay. I'm self-aware enough to know I did not make great financial choices in 2023. I overspent. I overstaffed. I made bad financial decisions. See, and Heather says, I so feel this a little different, but I understand. I've thrown everything I have into the ring right now, but I'm doing it for positive reasons, and it will all be okay. Hug, sister, I love you, and I'm okay, right? And I'm okay. But this is what it feels like. It doesn't feel great to do this work. So if you're out there going, well, this sucks. She didn't. I'm crying. Well, I'm crying too, y'all. Right? No matter what it may be. No matter what it may be. Maybe you're feeling this way because you feel like a failure because maybe your relationship is ending, right? Maybe your relationship you threw everything into is just not the right relationship and you are still holding on to it because you don't want to feel like a failure. And I told Red, I was like, I don't, he's like, fuck it. He's like, it is what it is. You do a good job. People enjoy the food you put out. You're paying all the bills. You don't have a lot of money in the bank, but you get it straight and the money will come in and it'll all work fine and everything always works out like it's supposed to and it'll be fine. And you just have to believe that. And I was like, you're right, I do. And I believe it. And I know it will. And it'll be fine. And everything's going to be great. And no big deal, right? But in the moment, when you're right there, when I was sitting here this week, and I'm going to tell you all the truth of the matter, I had borrowed some money from someone locally, a friend who's like, hey, amazing customer, and someone who I was like, I hate to ask because, ego was like, this sucks. Like, do not ask this question. People are going to think you're, something's wrong. There's rumor mill in Farmville might go around. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm like, I need this little bit of money to get me over this hump. Went on check. And I got the money, used the money like I needed to, got the check came in that was owed, paid the money back, and then something hit my account. I needed that little bit of money. And I asked for some funding, right? And in that moment, fear said, oh my God, fear, right? Yes, right. I had a moment the other day. If one more person told me how wonderful what I was doing, I was going to scream because it's not, but it will be. Yeah. In that moment, right, I was like fear-based, and they said we can loan you 30. I was like, when they said that, we've been approved for up to 30,000. I was like, right. I felt this like, and then I said, what are the terms? And they started talking about that. Now, 6 months ago, I would not have thought about the consequences to the business. I would have taken the money because the money would have helped immediately. It was a knee jerk, right? And this is where the growth comes in. This is why that story was important, because I'm going to tell you where the growth comes in, right? I still operated from fear and got nervous about the money. I still felt all that emotional. I was down here. I was vibrating down here. Fear of money, fear of all the things, like what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. Like all the things, like I got to pay my vendors. I got to do this. I got this big job coming up. What am I going to do? I need this money. 6 months ago, I would have taken this loan just because the $30,000 could have been in my bank account that day. It would have been an in the moment, instant gratification to handle all the anxiety. But what it would have done is it would have perpetuated the same pattern of anxiety when I couldn't pay that bill. And now I owe $14,490 on top of, like that makes, so that's where I knew. I was like, hey, thanks, ego. Like you gave me enough pause, right? To like feel that feeling, like higher self and ego, you're working together. Thank you. Right. Now, what do I learn from that? I learned that I have to like be cautious of my spending. Let me start grocery shopping a little better. Let me look at my payroll. This is where higher self and ego said, hey, we can work together and figure this out. Like you need to be cautious about your money. You need to figure out a way. You should be making some money, but how do we do this in a way that is to your highest and best? How do we do this? How do we take the information that ego you got last year whenever we took a loan out and we owe back more money than we need to pay back? How do we learn from what ego taught us, right? That knee jerk. How does higher self, how do we take that and how do we grow from it and make a better decision? That is self-awareness. That is what I'm talking about today when I said stay in your lane, right? Stay in my lane. Like, don't take on more. That's what ego is teaching me. It's teaching me to stay in my lane. You had your eye everywhere else. You wanted to help Charity starts at home. Here are some ways that you need to learn to stay in your lane. And that's what ego and higher self have taught me. Ego and higher self have taught me to stay in my lane, to keep my blinders on, right? To stop seeing what this person's doing, to stop looking, because that's when you start going off path, right? We talked about that. When you're with your partner and you're both focused on the thing that you need to do because you both have the same goal at the end of the highway, and you don't, if you look over at your partner, you start veering and you go further away from your partner. Like me and my business are on the same path. We have the same goal, right? If my business is going this way and I start looking and worried about all these things that don't matter, that we know what we're doing, I got to do my part. It's going to do its part. And we're closest we've ever been. We're riding down the road together. Now, as soon as I take my eyes off of what I need to be focused on and focused on what my business or Grace or Liz or Red or Amy or whoever or Heather, whatever, somebody else, and I do this, I start moving further away from them than I've ever been because I'm not doing the part I'm supposed to do. So what I want you to do today is I want you to be clear about where you're going, right? For me, for ego and higher self to work together in a simpatico kind of way, I've got to be clear about what it is that I want. But when I start looking at what somebody else wants or what this customer said would be nice, or what two people said that they were confused by this and they don't mess with it. So I'm trying to stop trying to message to everybody else and be clear and keep your eye on the prize. And when I'm moving forward and have my eye on the prize, things never go better. It's when I look everywhere but where I need to be going when things fuck up. And I'm going to guarantee you that's probably your life too. How many can say hallelujah, amen to that? So when you're worried about somebody put something in your ear, an earworm. Maybe you shouldn't have done that. You go out in this outfit that you love, the jeans, everything's like, those jeans are kind of expensive. I wouldn't have paid that much for those jeans. Well, they not like the jeans. You start thinking and worrying and thinking about all this other stuff, right? I want you today to try to work together with ego and higher self. That's my calling today. That is my stay in the lane today. Get clear about what your lane is, right? And then I want you to journal and thank your ego for the ways in which it has kept you in your lane, right? And your higher self, I want you and your higher self to become friends. And I want you to be BFFs with your ego as well. I want the three of you to be the Trinity, right? And that's what I'm like, your mental body, your physical body, your spiritual body. I want that to be your holy Trinity of coming into simpatico. And that is where the messaging and the love and light and what we do and how this all started, right? Homeostasis. How do we get in homeostasis? We get in homeostasis by connecting the mind, the physical body, and the mental body. How do we do that? The endocannabinoid system. So all of the fear and the stress that I have over my plant-based business and my clear-based business and the little comments and all of that stuff, I am no longer going to be worrying and looking at all of the things. I am clear about what I do. And people that want to heal their body, I have a way to help you do that. And it can be through holistic food, plant-based medicine, or whatever else, or just the energy that we put in our regular food. But if you truly want to have that mind-body connection, let us help you, because there's a way for your endocannabinoid system to become homeostasis. And that is the connection that gets your mind's ability to cure your body. I have a torn rotator cuff. I guarantee you, I can go to the doctor right now and they'll do an MRI of this thing and it is about healed, because I know the spiritual work that was associated with the shoulder. I have not had shoulder issues since I have done that work. Energy is what kills your body. It's a mind-body connection. If you are dealing with autoimmune, if you're dealing with a lot of these issues that doctors are like, I don't really know what it is. It just seems like there's like an autoimmune, or there's like something going on to give you inflammation, or there's this or there's that. I'm living proof of it. I have not felt well. There's things going on with me that I'm getting myself back into homeostasis. I'm getting my endocannabinoid system connected to my mind-body connection. I'm doing my breath work. I went and had my liver scan done this week. I don't know what's happening with that. I'll have some more information. But one of the things in that scan, she's like, this scan is going to take you about an hour, because a lot of people, you have to listen to me when I tell you how to breathe. If I say slow your breathing, I need you to slow your breathing. If I say stop, I don't mean take another inch of air. I mean stop your breathing. And I was like, I got you. And she says, everybody says they can do it, but I want you to, if you can't lay calm. I said, ma'am, I was like, if there's anything that I'm telling you, I can handle breath work. I do breath work every night. I do breathing exercises. I really want to get more information on like breathing techniques for like somatic trauma release and things like that. The more I've been doing it, the better it has been. But she got done with my test in like less than 20 minutes. I was in and out. And she said to me, she's like, damn. And I was like, what? She's like, you breathe dead perfect through that. She's like, I need you to do a very deep, slow breath. And I was like an 8-4-8. And she's like, uh-huh. I was like, I got you. And I was like, and I laid there and I was asleep. Meditated through it. I went to sleep. It was great. Um, no, we're not open. They can go away. I'm closed. That's great. Should have. Hang on. Give me a second. Hang on a second. She'll be back. She's getting her keys. I think she was. It's her 12, but it's 11:40. I'm going to pull our crystal affirmation card. But I want you all, if you are struggling with being able to get the mind and body connected, or you're struggling with being able to get clear to be able to have that connection with the ego and the higher self, I want you to think about some breath work. And that really does help in the evenings. There's YouTube videos. You can find a million of them. There's a couple of them also on Netflix on I can't think of the name. It's like a meditation program, like how to train your brain, those kind of things. So grab one of those. The things my mom is accomplishing right now. Oh, look, I love that. We're gonna pull our crystal affirmation card. Then I'm gonna get your thing. All right, y'all. Deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Concentrating on the item that you want to question answered on today. Let's see what our crystal affirmation card for the group is. I'm getting the number 7 to shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, here's our card today. Ooh. We've had this card the last couple of times, and y'all need to remember this. And I've got these everywhere. And that is Black Tourmaline, protect your energy. Black Tourmaline, protect your energy. So as you are doing this, 7 is your favorite number. I watched this movie last night. It was really strange, called Lucky Number 11. It was weird. Not kind of my kind of thing, but it was interesting. All right. Black Tourmaline, protect your energy. Only good vibes may enter. Learning how to fully realize and protect your personal energy is a powerful tool to stay strong, remain true to yourself, and to resist being swayed or brought down by negativity. And the reason that this card is important today, just came in, I'm just going to give you all the scoop on this, is because as you practice this clarity, as you start trying to make ego and higher self get along with one another, if your energy is not protected, all of those people in your ear are going to make this process harder and longer for you. If you are ready to really start trying to make ego and higher self get along with one another, you really need to start put some black tourmaline in your world, because you're going to need to protect that energy, because it's really hard to do. Like I said, whenever I am clear and I get everybody in my ear, and I don't stay true to what I know, I want to please everybody else. Black tourmaline is going to help each and every one of you, including me, which I'm going to grab some off my thing, wear it this week to not get sidetracked. So utilizing that meditation we did a couple of weeks ago, go back and find it in YouTube or here on Facebook, the protection, bring in the white light. Let me get this camera back to here. Okay, perfect. Utilizing the white light meditation, bringing your energy protection, putting your back tourmaline in pockets, a necklace, a bracelet, something like that will help give you an extra energy protection. So make sure you're doing that. So it says, before going out in public, make a conscious effort to harness this inner strength and commit to staying positive regardless of who or what may seek to dampen or drain your spirit. Utilize this shield of protection and you will recognize the difference. Core questions. Have you been letting others negatively affect you? Are there people in your life who leave you feeling drained when you spend time with them? How can you protect your vitality? Crystal action, your affirmations this week. I am strong. I am powerful. I am protected. Y'all remember this. I made you affirm it in the comments. I am strong. I am powerful. I am protected. That is a great affirmation to say as you leave your homes or being out in the world. I am strong. I am powerful. I am protected. Put on your black tourmaline, bringing your energy in from the heavens, your white chi energy, bring that in through your crown, have it ground you down to the earth, using your affirmations as you bring that energy in to protect yourself, and go out this week and make it your bitch, right? Go out this week and know that even if your heart and your head don't always agree, that it's all going to be fine, that we are here as community to help work together to get through that. Know that just like you, I am also in that place of figuring it all out, and we're going to figure it out together. I love that Elizabeth Clark affirmed that. We are 1 hour and 22 seconds. I'm going to get off here before it goes to 101 because I'm going to be true to my 1 hour live. And I want to thank y'all for watching. I'm not making a promise about when you'll see me live again this week. I'm hoping What's Up Wednesday is back in action this week, but I'm not making any promises because I'm going to do what's best for me. And I'm going to not let ego tell me I have to because you expect it. It's all going to be like it's supposed to be. And on that note, we're going to end this live with a little peace, a little love, and a little feast. And as always, y'all stay elevated. I'm still under 1 hour. I love y'all, and I'm gone.